Hello trade pros. Today we're going to cover 11 highly successful characteristics of traders. We're going to do this by using a book on performance psychology, and I'm going to go through 11 of these that will have a great impact on your trading results. So let's jump right into this video. So what's the first thing new traders tend to do? They want to go in the industry and start reading books. However, I've learned the most amount of trading related information outside of actual trading books. When you're focusing on personal development, you have the biggest impact in your results and your trading capability as well. This is why I love to read personal development, trading psychology, performance psychology, and anything outside of the industry which I could pick up on and apply to trading. So these are 11 characteristics pulled from the book, The New Mental Toughness for Training, from James Lerner. He's a leading psychologist in performance, and we're going to go through 11 of them. I've excluded one, it's technically 12, but that one's based on physicality. It doesn't apply directly to trading. Trading characteristic number 1. You need to have unshakable self-belief in your ability to achieve your competition goals. One of the athletes in this book said that mental toughness is about your self-belief and not being shaken from your path. It is producing the goods and having the self-belief in your head to produce those goods. In trading, you gotta have the belief that you're gonna win. If you're gonna sit every day to compete in the arena with other traders globally, you have to sit with the mind state that you're gonna win. And this is number 1 and most important. Athletes rated these characteristics in the order of importance, and I find it really interesting that this one makes it at the top of the list. So what's the next characteristic? Characteristic number 2, the ability to bounce back from performance setbacks as a result of increased determination to succeed. In trading and in sport, we all suffer setbacks. Whether they're temporary, some of them might go for longer stretches, but as an athlete and a trader, you really need to be determined enough to trust yourself that you could come back from setbacks. If you have a losing trade, or it gets worse and it becomes a losing day, a losing week, you really need to have the mental toughness to fight through that and have the ability that you want to win and get through this setback. So if you want to know how to bounce back like a pro, this is where I'm going to mention that we have a full trading psychology course in our membership area available to elite members. There we use advanced neuro-linguistic programming techniques that help you achieve actionable goals and create and cultivate a performance mindset that's bulletproof, that will help you win on a daily basis. Characteristic number 3, an unshakable self-belief that you possess unique qualities and abilities that make you better than your competition. If you're sitting down at the computer and trading every day or competing in sport, you really have to believe that you have an edge. Whether it's discipline, patience, your trading strategy, or the way you execute it, there has to be something in you or your approach that makes it unique and gives you a quantifiable edge. At TradePro Academy, we help you build your discipline and your trading plan. Characteristic number 4, an insatiable desire and internalized motives to succeed. You gotta really want it, but you've gotta do it for yourself. And this athlete in the book said that if you're competing for anyone else, it's big trouble to begin with. In trading, it's the same thing. It's very important to know what it is you're doing this trading for. Whether it's a lifestyle you wanna live, financial freedom, whether you want to travel more, no matter what the goal is, start with the end goal in mind and work your way backwards. Put motivational quotes and posters to support where it is you're trying to go. Just making money in and itself is pretty useless if you're not going to do anything with that money. So focus on what will you do once you get the success you're after. What kind of life will you live? And put visuals in your trading workstation to support that. It'll keep you focused and on the right track. Characteristic number 5, remaining fully focused on the task at hand in the face of competition-specific distractions. Athletes here said that there are inevitable distractions in life that you just gotta be able to focus on your sport and be able to execute through that. In trading, it's the same thing. You may have had some less sleep the night before. You could have had some really positive events happen or negative. But the next morning when you sit down at your trading station, you really need to clear those distractions and get in the zone and focus on what it is you're doing. Focus on the task at hand and be prepared to perform. In any situation where I experience a little bit less motivation the morning of trading and I'm distracted for outside purposes, As a trader, we have the ability to scale back. As an athlete, you really don't. You have to perform at 100% all the time. As a trader, some of my tips that I include is trade less size, trade less frequently, or be less aggressive and wait for higher probability trade setups rather than getting aggressive on the open and getting slapped. At the end of the day, you need to focus on one thing and one thing only. Read the price action, watch the market. Any outside news events, developments, sentiment shifts become clear after the fact, but you may miss a trade if you focus on the distractions. All the information you need and the analysis and breakdown of it goes right into the price action. So if you follow the price action and focus on the real time, you'll be sure to catch the trade, and afterward, you can explain why it is that you made money. I oftentimes see the news at the end of the day tell me why the trades I took ended up happening. But if you look for the explanation, you might miss the trade. So focus on price action and keep your head in the game and watch the market. Characteristic number 6, regaining psychological control following unexpected, uncontrollable events. All right, so athletes quoted this as competition specific and said that it's definitely not about getting unsettled by things you didn't expect or can't control. You've got to be able to switch back in control mode. This is all about regaining your mastery mindset. There are a lot of times where we'll get unsettled through a text message or distraction like the prior tip, but we got to be able to catch those moments with our emotional awareness and our emotional intelligence and switch back to being in control. Remember, every result that you create in trading, good or bad, is a result of the control that you had and the action you took as a result. If you ever feel out of control in your trading, this is something you need to address and stop live trading as quickly as possible. Some of my best days have happened where I've stopped trading where I could have done more damage rather than focusing on just profits. If you're able to identify those key shifts and turning moments, you're able to regain control. I love this next one. This is characteristic number 7. This is all about accepting the fact that competition anxiety is inevitable and knowing that you can cope with it. What we're doing as traders is an inherently risky venture. Every single day we put our capital at work and take a risk with the hope of getting a high probability return. With the fact that we're putting risk on the table on a daily basis comes the obvious anxiety and a little bit of worry. You get the pre-game jitters, and that's okay if you're driving to your work or you're driving to your trading desk or getting ready in the morning. But as you sit down at the computer and you get settled in, you really shouldn't be experiencing anxiety and worry. You need to accept the risk before you start taking it. If you're having trouble accepting that what you're doing is risky, you're really not going to create a good result because it leads to loss of control, emotional trading, and a lot of self-sabotage that gets pulled out of you. So you really need to come to terms with the fact that what we're doing is risky and define the risk. Think about it this way. In any other job or career that you do, you're taking risks and accepting them without knowing them. In trading, the difference is that every single time you take a trade, you know the risk ahead of time and you can control it. So by being able to identify it, you should be able to accept it. This is one of my favorite characteristics and super important to performance management. And now we get into the last 4. Characteristic number 8, not being adversely affected by others' good and bad performances. This one is super important for athletes and traders alike. One of the athletes in the book is quoted as saying, "There have been cases where people have set world records only to see those world records broken once again in 5 or 6 minutes right after." The mentally tough athlete uses other people's success as a catalyst and as a motivation to do even better. Sometimes when we do the unthinkable, we motivate other people that it's possible for them as well. Now, trading is not the unthinkable. We have a community of successful traders that do this on a daily basis at TRADEPRO Academy. Every single morning, we trade in our live trading room from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern. And you can see our community of professional traders win money on good days and also lose money on good days. Either way, you see the real raw performances. The good performances within the community will pull you up and build you up to expect greater results for yourself. When you see people having challenges throughout the day, you're able to learn from their mistakes without putting any of the capital at risk. At the end of the day, it's all about belonging to a winning team and seeing good and bad performances and being able to learn from both and be motivated to create success for yourself. Characteristic number 9, thriving on the pressure competition. It is said that pressure creates diamonds, and you have to have a desire to compete on a daily basis and you really need to want to do this thing. If you're just trading for the sake of making money, but inside you really don't have a competitive desire, it's going to be a very tough business for you to succeed in, because every single day in the market is a new fight. And in order to win, you got to go out there and compete every single day. It's not a passive job, but the income is great. Futures trading, it's not a real job, but the money is unreal.
Trading futures, that's not real. But the money is unreal.
Number 10, remaining fully focused in the face of personal life distractions. We touched on this one briefly, so we won't go over it in too much more detail, but you need to shake off the distraction and get in your performance mindset every single morning. If you're not in optimal mind state, you're going to deliver less than optimal results. And this is the last characteristic, and I think this one is super important. Number 11, and the final characteristic of highly successful performance athletes and traders: switching the sport focus on and off. When you're trading on a daily basis, you need hunger, you need drive, and you need motivation to compete and win, like we've discussed. However, when you leave the trading office, it's important to be able to have an off switch and unwind in the off hours, relax, and get yourself ready for the next day. It's not all about being 100% performance 100% of the time. Trading is all about high performance in short stretches. You don't need to trade from the opening to closing bell to have good results. In fact, in our trading room, we trade just 2 hours a day, and many of our community members are able to earn a full-time income. It's not about trading time for money. What it is about is being able to turn on the performance switch and go 100% for the time that you're sitting in the chair. Once you're done, you need to unwind, take a bit of a rest, and get ready for the next day. And those are the 11 tips from athletes in the book titled The New Toughness Training for Sports. And we could use all these qualities for trading as well. If you want to see real professional traders at work who embody these qualities and applying them on a daily basis, check out our community. We trade together on a daily basis, and you get to join a team that wins and succeeds every single day. They say that 90% of success in trading is due to trading psychology. We have a trading podcast for you to listen to on a weekly basis. It's called Mind Over Markets, and the link is in the description below. You can listen to the latest episode now. For access to our free training course, click the link in the description or on the card and get started today. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Manage your risk and trade like a trade pro. Goodbye.